Hi STEMs! For our letter writing activity this week, we are going to be writing to our same 2-3 partners from last week. And if you noticed in your letter that they wrote to you, they gave you kind of a recommendation of an activity that you can do. Maybe it's a puzzle or a card game. And so this week we are going to be writing letters with activities that they can do. Summer is almost here, school is almost out, and we're going to have a lot of extra time to play new games or try new movies. And I think that you guys have some really great games or activities that the 2-3 friends would really enjoy. So in my letter, I'm going to start by writing Dear Betsy, because that's who I'm writing to this week. And then I'm also going to add kind of an introduction letter or an introduction sentence in my letter. Maybe it's, I hope you had a great weekend. I hope you're having fun at home. I'm going to say, I can't believe school is almost over. I'm going to add an exclamation point because I can't believe it. I can't believe school is almost over. Ay, ay, ay. So now that I've kind of introduced my letter, now I'm going to go into the recommendation part. I have a card game that I think Betsy would really enjoy playing. You can write about a card game or a board game or a game you made up, or maybe it's a movie, maybe it's a recipe that you like to make with your parents. Something that the 2-3 friends can do while they're at home and school is out. So mine is a card game, so I'm gonna tell her about that card game. So I have a card game you can play over the summer. So I started by telling her that it's a card game that she can play over the summer. Obviously, if you're not writing about a card game, you might want to put something out. So I have a game you can play. I have a recipe you can make, something like that. The game is called Monopoly Deal. Now I could just stop there. The game's called Monopoly Deal. Bye, have a great day. I'm not going to do that because I want to get Betsy really excited about this game, and I want Betsy to want to go out and get this game and play it, and then maybe we can play it together. So I'm not just going to stop by telling her what it is. I'm going to tell her more about it, what it's like, how do you play. So my next sentence is going to say, the game is a card version of Monopoly. It is really fun and exciting. So I added some adjectives to help describe the game that I'm talking about. So I told her it's Monopoly Deal. I told her that it's a card version of Monopoly. And you can see that I'm using my capital letters when I'm talking about a game because that is the name of the game, and so we have to capitalize it. I added a period and I said it is really fun and exciting. So I'm adding some adjectives to make my letter seem more exciting, but also to make my game seem more exciting so that Betsy will want to go out and play this game. If I just say it's a game and it has cards, that's not very exciting. Nobody wants to play that game. But if I say it's really fun and it's exciting and it's like Monopoly, then she may be more likely to go out. So now that I've talked about my game, I've described it a little bit, I'm going to close out my letter by saying, I hope you can play Monopoly Deal this summer. Now my letter has 5 sentences, which means your letter needs to have at least 5 sentences, and really it can have even more than that because I have 3 sentences on just my game. So if I add a sentence about the beginning of the letter and one at the beginning or at the end of the letter, and maybe I add some more descriptive words about my game, I could really have more sentences than just 5. And if you have more than one activity that you think a 2-3 friend would enjoy, write it down. Maybe you have a card game and a board game. Maybe you have a movie and a book. Maybe you have a recipe and a card game. And the more things you can give them to do, the more things they're going to have to do over the summer that is going to be super fun. And who doesn't want to have a lot of fun things to do? At the end of my letter, of course, I'm going to write from Abby so that Betsy knows who it came from. I used my very best handwriting so that Betsy could read it. We definitely want to make sure we're using our finger spaces in between the words and that we're giving good spacing in between our sentences. A lot of my friends are using lined paper, which is great. If you're not, make sure your sentences have some space in between there so they don't get all jumbled together. I hope that you have fun writing this letter. I cannot wait to see what recommendations you have. Bye.